Kanchana, and we all are present here today for the 18th annual Seacoast Spring Show, present here at Seacoast Artist Gallery. With me here is Sandra Anderson, President of Seacoast Artist Guild, and our two judges, Danny and Jason Lee. Danny is an artist from Georgetown, and Jason is a photojournalist with the Sun News paper. And well, we had almost 200 pieces today, and it's a beautiful show, great show, and soon we will make announcement of all the awards, the pieces which won prizes today. So let's start with 3D. So this is honorable mention for 3D category, and our judges chose Jerry Moore for his piece Swirls, wooden 3D artwork.
All right.
Let's move on to...
Right, so any comments for the artist?
Sure, I mean, from me, you know, I was very impressed. I think there would have been a temptation to overdo this natural piece, and the artist, you know, clearly wanted nature to come out of this piece. So only removed what was absolutely necessary, I think, to really make, and that's what really made this piece stand out for us. I think we both saw different things in this piece when we looked at it.
It was a lot of fun visually because the edges, you could almost superimpose different animals, different wildlife. You see birds, raccoons, rabbits, anything was in that piece of wood, but that was, I'm sure, pure accidental. But it was wonderful. It was just fun, loud. It wasn't boring. It was very spontaneous.
Cool.
And the first place in 3D category goes to Richard Tomlin. This is a 3D mixed media, wood, resin, acrylic, and he got the first place under 3D category. Let's have some few words from the judges, like what they thought about this piece.
There's so much movement in it. To be such a stiff, rigid piece of wood was nice. And of course, he talked about the color. He said it was exciting to him to see these color choices for this. And then we talked about the subtleties up here in this area, and then the detailed work and the wings itself and the motion it created. And also have everything handmade and just made a wonderful workmanship out of a 3D piece of work that has the illusion of a painting, but it's definitely sculpted in sculpted form.
There's a lot of depth created there. I mean, it's 3D, so it's obviously got a lot of depth, but I think the way the artist cut this wood to kind of draw you in further to the water, you know, really added to that. So, yeah, very impressive.
Awesome. All right.
So now we are in the category of
No, don't pick it up.
fiber art, and this is honorable mention, and it goes to Laurie Sylvester for this piece, and maybe our judges can say why they chose Laurie's work. Thank you.
Well, part of attractiveness to it, of course, is the composition from a distance, the lights and dark. And they realized what it was. It's such a wonderful placement of fabric, such a free, and the stitcher is so free and uninhibited, so we just love the aspect. And of course, it has a touch of whimsical nature to it also, but basically it's well composed and the color variation and the whimsical theme, and he has a poem that goes with this.
You have a point.
I was telling Daddy that whimsical nature he was talking about. It reminded me of a poem that my father used to say, and it was, "Ooey gooey was a worm, and was a worm was he. He crawled upon the railroad track, the train he did not see. Ooey gooey." And so I would like to encourage this artist to think about worms in their next competition. But no, we were really impressed.
Laurie, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, really. I love that. Love it. All right.
Thank you. So here we are, still under fiber category, and the first place goes to Judy Lilly for her piece Abby, and cute little dog. Yes, great work. And let's have the judges say a few words why they chose Judy's work.
Well, for one thing, you know, you just said, I think you just said cute little dog, Abby. I'll be honest, I kind of originally looked past because it was a cute little dog, right? And then the more we looked at it, the more we saw the intricate detail that was put into this. I think Danny called this a very brave choice of color here to add the pink. I love the catch light in the eyes. the use of different color fabric for shadows and to give some texture. I mean, we thought the more we looked at it, the more wonderful we thought it was in terms of those details and the work that must have been involved with that. So good job.
Yeah, excellent.
Awesome. All right. Go ahead, Myrtle.
So now we are looking at the photography category, and we have 3 honorable mentions this time. And this one goes to the third honorable mention goes to Philip Duville for his photograph Soft Dawn. And let's have Jason say something about it along with Danny, why this piece was chosen. And
This is kind of an understated sunset pastoral. You know, it's one that would have honestly been a little bit easy to overlook to begin with. And then, I think the second time I passed it, I noticed this wonderful detail of these dewdrops that are hanging off the fence post here. And that really evoked some emotion in me. And you know, so much of this is subjective. You know, we have to go by, you know, what really evokes emotion in us, and maybe memories. I think that's closely tied to memories. And so you know, seeing these little dewdrops, I had a professor one time that used to say that God is in the details, and you really see that here. So that's what did that for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a beautiful piece. Of course, everybody loves the beach and the ocean, but I'm not a photographer, so I was well educated today, and everything he said we both agreed on. We walked back and looked. We came back 3 or 4 times, and the use of the lights and darks and the softness and the feel it had, that's what really caught our attention. So, and
Awesome.
He's the expert, so he's definitely right on.
Awesome. So actually, we have another honorable mention right next to this. So let me come in.
the second honorable mention goes to Terry Monahan for his work Lines. Congratulations, Terry. And shall we have Jason and Danny say a few words, or Jason, please go first.
You know, obviously, you know, very symmetrical, very simple use of lines. But this use of finding this, seeing this, the artist, you know, noticing that and using these shadows, the lines from the shadows and the lines from what I presume is either a bench or a fence, and the way that those were falling, and then the subtle color use in there that adds all this texture. I just thought it was really, good seeing and finding you know, those types of details. And then, you know, photography is all about light, and you know, that light was just such wonderful light. You know, it's hard to pass that one up. So that's why I kept coming back to this one, I think. And I should say, I'm going to say that surprisingly, most of the photographs that I chose here, or that we chose, looking at these, are way outside of my realm of photography. But there's a lot that's subjective, but then there are some things that are objective, and the use of the composition is a little bit more objective, and so is beautiful light. You know, I think you know it when you see it.
Cool. Awesome.
I do love the abstract quality it has, the warm and cool juxtaposition, and then it has these value towards the dark. It's a little bit darker, lighter, a little bit lighter, and to the warm. It's just a wonderful juxtaposition, and then the lines are broken. It's a staccato type effect. Make sure you go up and feel the energy of the painting. Even though it's very still, it has a lot of energy. But we kept going back to this one also because it's, you know, and it's definitely worth the prize for sure. So.
Cool. Yeah, you should.
All right, I said previously we have 3 honorable mention, but I'm sorry, we have only 2 honorable mention in photography category. And the first place goes to Joe Temple. The title of the painting is Huntington Beach. Congratulations, Joe. And Danny and Jason, please say why this deserves a first place.
Good. There again, the expert now can follow that.
You know, we see a lot of storm landscapes and storm seascapes here in Myrtle Beach. Every time I walk past this it grabbed my attention though, and it's you know, largely because of the drama of this black and white scene. But the photographer made some very important choices here that I think that made this stand out. And one is the use of this white negative space on both ends of this, and chose to provide this much white negative space that really makes the drama of the clouds, you know, stand out. There's also footprints that are leading lines leading you up the beach into a dark area. I think graphically that just works really, really well. I think Danny mentioned that. I won't take that away from you, Danny. Why don't you wrap it up and tell them what you loved about this?
Well, we just loved it. It's somewhat still, but there's a lot of movement, and especially love the turns in the abstract design of this. And of course, we love the horizon, the vantage point. But he mentioned strongly about the negative space. That's what really attracted his attention. And it's a typical scene you see a lot, but he managed to pull it off with the artistic, abstract quality of it. So,
and I think that's what's really, you know, when you've got something that's a scene that you see photographed 1,000 times, and then one of them, you know, really stands out and really captures your attention the way that this one has. I just think there was no denying that this was going to be at the top of our list.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So now we are in the final category, that is the 2D category, and we have 4 honorable mention. There were such wonderful pieces, and the judges requested, can we have a 4th honorable mention? So here is our 4th one, which goes to Lesta Suhadi. She's one of the, our member, and her painting Out gets the 4th honorable mention today. Now, Danny, if you could tell us what you know, we have like 200 paintings, and what pulled you towards this little owl?
When I walked the perimeter of the gallery, this small piece just caught my eye. I love the whimsical part of it. And then you start looking close on the detail, the composition, the color. And he said the same thing to him. He walked by and he just, wow. And of course, it's a simple subject matter, but just the way she placed all the values with the color, it just worked so well. And I just found it, but I came back several times, and that's why I asked for 4th honorable mention, because I couldn't leave it out.
Jason, would you say something?
I will, but I'm going to echo most of the things that Dan says, because you know he's been educating me about artworks all day as well, and of course all art has some common things about it, so we found some common ground. But we just kept coming back. There's some neat little details and some splashes of color there, the pinks here, and all the detail that's in there that just made us keep coming back to that. So yeah, it was exciting.
Thank you. Here we are looking at honorable mention 3rd place, and that goes to Michael Rogan for his painting The Red Canoe. And Danny, why? It's a beautiful painting, yes, but would you say a few words why you
Well,
chose?
there again, we both like it. He does plein air painting. And we love just the color nuance and some strong colors, even though they're somewhat muted, but it created a nice overall pastel, and you kind of feel the warm summer breeze. Just had a lot of things that plein air painting tries to say, but you know, catch that moment. Not super detailed, but enough paint application, nice lucid and good value quality, that it just created a nice overall feel of the sun, decks, like the tip of the beach or the marsh.
For me, there's just so much of this about is how it makes you feel. We keep saying that, you know, and it's, you know, that this put us there. There's no doubt of where this is, and you know, I felt like I could be sitting there with the artist. So.
Both Jason and Danny, they live here. Danny lives in Georgetown, and he's from Conway. So I guess both of you could relate to.
Oh yeah.
Spent a lot of time in that environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
So
So now we are looking at honorable mention 1, and it goes to Monica Scara for her painting Hope series, Pink Rhythm. And I really like that painting. Danny, would you say a few words why you chose this painting?
there again, when I walked to the show, I was the ones that hit me the strongest in this one was small. We both agreed it just had a powerful impact, even though it was something like 5 by 9 inches or 5 by 8. But the way she used the color, the power punches on the edges, it just had a wonderful feeling. It's almost has a human quality to it, but it just, if it had been a larger piece, it'd been amazing. It's still amazing now, it's about thick, but I really enjoyed it. I probably came back 5 times with this one. And he did too.
I'll disagree a little bit about the larger piece. I like it. I like how small and simple that is. In fact, I think, Danny, if I remember right, we were judging 2 separate parts of the show and looking at different art. And when I started looking at the paintings in the 2D, I think I brought you over here, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
I think I brought you over here to show you this, and he was already of the same mind. I think this. For me, it feels finished. As abstract as it is, it feels complete. And I think for me, this little splash of yellow and all that pink really kind of tied it together for me. So gave me a place to land, as I'd like to say, in the photo world. So.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you. So now we are looking at honorable mention 1 under a 2D category, and it goes to Midge Avonshire for her piece Low Country. And Jason, will you say?
I guess I'll
yes,
start.
both of you have to say why you chose.
Yeah, I've said before, I don't know abstract work that much, but I think I brought Danny over to this one. There's it evokes some emotion. I'm not quite sure what it is, if it's trees in the sky, and but it definitely evoked enough emotion in me that I went and got. I think I went and got Danny and said, you need to see this one. This is over here. So take a look. So Dan, why don't you tell us what's so great
He's
about
exactly right. No, I mean the use of color, the wonderful texture, all these little subtleties. If you get up close, composition just works great. Values, whatever, all the theories of art. When you come close, all these little nuances are just amazing. You can sit here for a few minutes just to look and just find things in there. It just captured you while you were looking visually. So
Yeah.
and he brought me to it, so and he did. I said, wow. So,
Cool.
I did include that one.
Awesome. All right. Cool. Next.
All right, we are back in 2D category, and now here is our third place, which goes to Mia Lee. Yeah, and her painting is Rebirth of the Phoenix. So a very nice piece, and I would really like Danny why he chose this abstract painting.
I love the energy. First, the energy it had. I turned to the left and I said, "Oh wow!" It just caught my strongly. And the way she placed all these flat, linear colors, and then all of a sudden had these wonderful spirals and turns, and the juxtaposition of yellows and purples with the split color of orange, the greens and magenta just apart, because green throws red into blue, and blue throws orange back, which creates a warmth for that magenta. So wonderful use of color, and the design elements are amazing. And it just had the power to put the brightest color on the edges, create this wonderful spiral. It just, it was great.
Cool. Awesome.
Jason?
Jason, anything?
Other than everything Danny said, I think we just found out the days of the artist. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So why don't we just cut off when Danny finishes? And
No. It's okay.
You just say your.
But I was really impressed with the use of color here. These are not colors I would normally juxtapose the way this artist has done, and it just works. And I was really impressed by that. And this is one of the ones that I got a little bit of education on from Danny. He was able to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are looking at second place, which goes to Yuri for his painting, Music 21, a beautiful painting.
I'll give it a shot. I'm sorry.
So let's hear what Jason responds to why he chose this.
On one hand, it's very busy. It has all these elements in there, but I was very impressed with how well controlled that is. It's clearly a lot of very defined compositional choices here. So between that and the use of color, the theme, that evokes some emotion, all those things, work for me. Dan?
Yeah, I just love everything about it. He's black, juxtaposition of values. He trimmed with white instead of black, which gives a nice sense of light and air. And the strings of the guitar, instead of going this way, they go in just the opposite. Wonderful use of display of breaking up an image in black strings with white strings, all the dots, and there again, the color complements. It's just analogous colors. The way you used color just made you go through the piece and towered out to the blue and orange, which is wonderful. I mean, that little circle brings you back, the keys point back. Really well designed, and just a great feeling of music.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally we are looking at first place, which goes to Robert Masser for his abstract landscape. Congratulations, Robert. And Danny, please tell us why this painting got a first place.
Well, walking through the primitive gallery again, this was wonderful. It just, from across from, I had to walk over, and I tried 3 or 4 times, but the way, the color there again, the color balance, and the use of those nice dark was because it said all these colors, you add black to it, and it always makes perfect composition of color balance. He did a great job doing this in the green and the Persian blue type coloration, but there again, and he had the courage to exploit the white of the canvas also. And plus it had a nice receding element, enough you could just feel the fall, the spring, or whatever season it is, just you know what's going on. And just the sun, that's what really impressed me with anything, just the abstract quality of a realistic image. and it just had a wonderful vibration of movement all through the piece. I love it.
Jason?
Yeah, it was like, I think they said, abstract quality of a realistic image. It somehow feels real or almost dreamlike, and the use of shadow here in the dark, these dark areas just really draw you into the frame, so it feels three-dimensional instead of two, and you know, that's one of the things I like about it. It's a little bit unusual in the photo world to use dark to draw you deeper into the frame. Often you're using bright spots. So, you know, I found that pretty interesting. And then there's even use of white canvas here in negative, what I would call negative space. So yeah, we were both very impressed by this one. There was no doubt.
Cool.
Congrats. All right, so we are looking at best of show, and it goes to Pat Mariano for her digital artwork, The Tower.
So
And
here's Pat. Here's the artist.
And it so happens that Pat walked in
She can
today,
talk about her own
and she's here. But let's hear comments from our judges why they chose this work as the best of show.
Wow, I mean, a lot of reasons. I'm a photojournalist, so it's all about reality for me. So this couldn't be further, you know. But I kept coming back to this and looking at all the wonderful details and the color palette. You know, the stories, the number of stories. There are myriad stories being told in this, and that's what we as photojournalists do. That's what Pat did with this painting. She's, you know, I'm going to be interested to talk to the artist because you know, she's making a statement, and everybody could take this statement a different way. I think you know, when you look at it, but it's got a commercial feel, yet there's all these wonderful little stories, and the detail, the level of detail she's gone into with this composition. I mean, everywhere you look in this frame, you can find another little slice of life, and it helps that this is, you know, related to the area that we live in and that we know and love. So we can extrapolate a lot of our own story into this image. So yeah, this was, you know, we just thought this was a wonderful composition, you know, all the way around. You want to talk
Well,
about
he's
that?
the photography expert, but we both agreed on. He asked me to come over and look. I said, "Well, wow, we love this one," and we just love, I think, all the little nuances to go on, because abstract is a great design, wonderful use of light and dark. You know, nice. You feel like you could go over the colors, just take you around the painting. Birds flying in, the red punch there, but it's Myrtle Beach, but it's everything. But all this little stuff, you just get lost in the lights and darks, and just the icons that they have all around the beach area. And so we just both unanimously said this has got to be the one, the power one.
Yeah, there's a controlled chaos here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they really. I mean,
Yeah.
and you know, we kind of bounced around, like, you know, what is the theme? You know, what questions does this causes us to ask a lot of questions, and I think sometimes art, instead of answering questions for you, does just that. It challenges you to ask questions about you know, your environment and about the artist. So
It's
we really
amazing.
enjoyed it.
So here is Pat. Would you
Here's
like to
Pat.
tell
What-
me about
what-
it? What inspired
You can tell us
you?
about
Yes.
What inspired you to do this?
I've been thinking about this for over a year, and I started this
Wow.
piece a year ago, and then just
Wow.
kept putting pieces on, taking I could build 3 more of these buildings,
Wow.
but then I totally appreciate your appreciation of
Oh,
it.
yes, wonderful.
Do you think is it better to leave it as a mystery of what this means to you, what you're saying with this, or is that better to leave it as a mystery?
I
or-
wanted it to be ambiguous.
Okay.
It is. It
Okay.
is. It worked for us. We stood for 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes trying to.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I have my own feelings about it, but I didn't want to be one way or the other. I wanted it to be ambiguous. People
Yeah.
do what
That's right.
think what they
Wonderful.
want.
That's great.
It's awesome.
Reminds me of an Indian temple.
Yes.
Congratulate. It does very much so.
Good job.
Congrats, Miss. Congrats,
We, you
Pat.
know, we went round and round. Is she saying something about commercialism? You know, is that the gorilla in the room here? I mean, we
Yes.
we went round and around about, you know, the tourist. Is it about the tourist industry, or is it just about fun? I mean, you know, so we went round and around about what it meant. But there's all these wonderful details here.
Yeah, the color place.
I did put in my favorite seafood restaurant in there,
Uh-huh.
Russell's.
Okay.
Well, that's wonderful, and big congratulations to Pat Mariano.
Thank you.
She's
Thank
the
you.
best of
The
show.
pinnacle of my career. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Spring
Cool.
show, 18th annual spring show, and I would like to say thank you to our judges for coming here and they reached here at 10 in the morning, and what time is it now? It's past
2, yeah.
It's 2 o'clock, and I hope they had a good time judging the show.
Yes,
And
Absolutely. Learned a lot. Thank you.
thank you for being our judge. With that, sign off. Please come
There you-
and see this exhibition. It's paintings and artwork out for sale. Fabulous show, and the gallery is open.
Location.
The gallery is open from 10 to 6 every day, except on Sunday it's noon to 6, and we are located at Market Commons in Myrtle Beach. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Please drop by. Thank you.